What's up? Y'all already know it's your girl Lajanae, and yes, the lie is absolutely necessary. And I am here in New York covering the Diddy trial live on the ground. And baby, when I mean to tell you that today was spicy, child, it was spicy. And I just really wish that the Lord would kill the visuals that are in my mind because not only was it a little spicy, it was very, very transparent, and I just felt like I was watching a flick of Diddy, but not with that, not the actual video. So today, while we finalized the jury, the jurors, and we finalized the jury, and hell, I can't even talk. And we were able to get through one witness, Mr. Florez, who was the security officer at the time, during 2016, March 5th, 2016, when the hotel assault happened on Cassie. And then number two, we spoke with well, not we spoke with, but we heard from Danile Phillip. I'm gonna skip witness number one. I'm gonna say that for a later video. I'm gonna say that for my other video. But let's get into Danile Phillip. First of all, baby, one of them blue Power Rangers, those prosecutors. I can What's her name? Comedy? Comedy? I'm gonna get a name right. Baby, let me tell you something. Her colleague did a direct, basically question Mr. Florez. She kind of walked him through. Baby, sister gal that came up later, she got through. What's your name? How old are you? Some college. Where did you work? And the next question was, how do you know Cassie Ventura? Baby, I was not expecting him to say, what did he say, child? Um, he used to have sex with Cassie and did it watch. He was paid to have sex with Cassie and did it watch. And when he damn, I'm loud. Let me Yeah, I'll be so loud when I get excited. Baby, when he said that, I said, wait a minute, hold up. I, they ain't gonna prep us for this. And not only did we get into it, let me tell you. So let me describe him first of all. Daniel is short and buff, right? He's brown skinned, but it's like he got a little tan on him. He's kind of like he's a little darker than caramel, but he's not light skinned and he's not dark skinned. Like I'm darker than him, right? He's 41, and back in between 2011 2013, he worked as a male review. He was a manager of a male review show here in NY. I got so many goddamn, I know I got about 30, 40 pages of notes, right? Now he's 41. He said that he first met Cassie after accepting a job, basically saying, hey, we got some women who are having a bachelorette party. We need for you to do your little thing. They specifically requested a black male. We don't have any black males right now that are who are available. We need you to strap up and get suited and booted and go, and go, do your thing. He said, okay, cool. I'm gonna go do my thing. Even though I don't do this a lot, I'm just a manager. I fill in when I need to. I can go do a little 1 2 1 2 and make that little money for the company and do my thing. Baby, he said when he got to the door, this is all the boy he testified now. Cassie had on some red lingerie, a red wig, high heels, platform heel, well no high heels with dark shades. And she said it was her birthday and her husband wanted to do something special for her. So she was like, rub baby oil on her to give her a massage. Okay. Said her husband wasn't gay and they paid him. Hold on. She said he said her husband wasn't gay and her husband being Diddy. You know how like you'd be like, that's my wife, that's my husband, whatever. So I'm assuming that's what they were doing. Um, And he said when he walked into the room, there were velvet couches, candles on the table, and the table and candles were always in front of the couch. He met up with them multiple times, and every time it was always candles in front of the couch. I mean, a table with candles lit in front of the couch, and the rest of the room was dark. He said he walked in the room and he saw some man in a robe, and I believe he said that the robe was white, and he had a bandana on his face, and he had a hat on. Now, there were also bottles of Astroglide, and before I say what Astroglide is, I think I know what it is, but let me just triple double check. So basically, he went there thinking that he was going to just perform a little 1 2 1 2, and baby, he ended up busting Cassie wide open, basically. Okay, Astroglide is a lube. Okay. I thought that it was something specific. I ain't gonna tell you what I thought it was for, but it's just regular lube. I thought it was maybe lube that was specifically for anal sex for some unknown reason. I don't know why my mind went there, but it's just regular lubrication. Okay. So yeah, did he had on the right road. So he gets in there. But he couldn't see Diddy's face clearly. So at this time, all he know is he showed up to a woman's hotel. Oh, and they asked him to wear, they wanted him to dress up as a New York police officer, but um he couldn't find a uniform. So he just went and bought the NYPD shirt. And he was told when he got to the hotel, ask for somebody, ask for black. Okay. Get to the hotel. Cassie opening the door. He walking in. He see a man with a robe. Cassie is also saying that basically rub me down with baby oil, and we could go as far as you're comfortable with, and whatever happens, happens. Okay, so he say he hold on. Wait a minute, let me see. He realized who Diddy was when Diddy said something to him. I don't recall if he testified. I don't have it in quotes since I would have wrote this down. He didn't say what Diddy said to him, but at first he didn't know. He knew there was another man there, but he did not realize that it was Diddy until Diddy started saying something to him. So he and Cassie are he's in the room with Cassie, and he said that they started taking off their clothes, but he left his underwear on. Um, he said that once they started rubbing on each other, immediately Diddy started masturbating, in quotes, immediately, right? Then he said that Cassie was so beautiful that he didn't even last that long because she was just so beautiful, baby. Diddy was so fine. That man couldn't even hold it. He couldn't control himself, baby. He ejaculated rather quickly. Um, he left they paid him. He said they paid him around $4,000, give or take. No, $4,000 roughly that first go around. And when I say they paid him, he technically said that Cassie was the one who would always give him the money, even though Diddy would be like, Diddy would make sure that he got his bread. So he said that Cassie actually gave him the money. And when he opened the door, when Cassie opened the door, Cassie actually had it in her hand. She already had the money in her hand. He said he was in complete shock at the time that he didn't realize it was prostitution because by this time, let me say this. I'm going back from prosecutor, defense attorney, and they are both, they do the direct, redirect, cross-examine. And so I'm telling you as a story. I'm not telling you everything from prosecutor side. I ain't telling you everything from the defendant side at one time. I mean, separately. I'm telling you, as like I'm having a conversation, right? He said, um, She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. That sex was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, Cassie. That that being sex was fast. And they were in missionary position when he ejaculated. Diddy was in the corner masturbating immediately. She was getting sexually aroused and enjoying herself, and they ultimately had sex on the couch. He ended up leaving. 5 minutes later, Diddy, I mean, no, 5 minutes later, Cassie texted him and asked him for a picture of his penis. And while they were having sex, though, Cassie was saying that this is the largest penis she's ever seen. She was saying, this is the largest penis, I've ever seen during sex. So while they are doing all of this testifying, obviously Diddy's family is in the gallery. They're in the gallery. His mama came in. Justin's mom was also there. The twins and the twins, Chance, Quincy, they all arrived. And as soon as this man started talking about ejaculation, the first time he said ejaculation, the twins and Chance walked out. Walked out. They came back in. He was still talking ejaculation. They walked out and never came back. They never came back. His mama was still there. Justin's mama was still there. I can't think of her name. Christian was there. Quincy was still there. Justin was still there. But the actual twins and Chance, they walked out. And I don't blame them. I know they want to hear about their daddy having no goddamn sex because it's nasty. It's real nasty. Oh my God. Can you remember, like, I don't know if you ever heard your parents having sex. Oh my God. That shit is fucking disgusting. It's traumatizing. So I can only imagine hearing what your daddy was doing while another man was in the room with somebody that you knew that was with your daddy half of your damn life, because they were together for what, 11 years. The twins are what, 18? You know what I'm saying? Child, like, that's too much. So he was, as soon as he started talking about ejaculation, they walked out. And I saw one of them saying, like, going to the bathroom. They came back, and literally not even 5 minutes later, I don't think, or maybe it was not even 10 minutes later, baby, they left. They left. They ain't want no parts of it. I don't blame them. And then Daniel said that Diddy and Cassie showed him. No, Cassie said she wanted him to pee on her. Okay. Then he said when he started peeing on her, he was doing it wrong. So Diddy and Cassie told him he should let out a little bit at a time and not just full out pee on him. Okay. Then let's see what else. He also testified to being offered Cialis, actually taking Molly, and at the time he took Molly, that he was offered these drugs from Diddy. At the time he took Molly, he was so high that he went in New York's Times Square and literally gave out the money that he made from having sex with them after he left from being with them. He what did he do? He went out to Times Square and gave out $100 bills. He said he felt euphoric, but he also felt sick. He said that they would meet up at Cassie's house, Diddy's house, several hotels, the Intercontinental Hotel, including the Intercontinental Hotel in New York. It seems as though that they only had sex in New York. And he said that one day he saw Diddy hit Cassie, and at that point, he started having erectile dysfunction and he could not get hard again while Diddy was in the room. And that would end, that ended the freak out sessions with him, and that he would make anywhere between $700 to $6,000. Then he said that at one point he was telling them how he wanted to start using protection, and that he wanted Cassie to give him her baby, he needed those my chart results, honey. He needed those results. He had his, but she never got but he never got Cassie's. And they most of the time they did not use condoms. They didn't use condoms the first time. Diddy would be saying, "Oh, y'all need more baby oil." Let me tell you, the prosecution made it their business to make sure that they specifically, inquired about the baby oil and its usage. And y'all know that was a running theme. That was a running joke, running joke, running joke, running joke. They made sure that they were asking about the baby oil. And according to Daniel, Diddy would tell him, oh, y'all don't have enough baby oil. You're not using enough baby oil. Um, y'all need more baby oil. What else? And he said sometimes he would get to these rooms and it would seem like he wasn't the first man there. He said it would be used towels on the floor, empty bottles of baby oil, half bottles, of lubricant, so on and so forth. What else did he say, child? He said one time it was him, Cassie, an unnamed man, and Diddy. And while Cassie was giving Diddy head, and the guy was fucking Cassie, and Diddy said, "Motherfucker, you better quit looking at me." And the man was like, "I'm not looking at you. I'm not staring, I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you." And Daniel specifically said that the man was really looking at Diddy, and Diddy did not like that. And he was like, "Motherfucker, you better quit looking at me." And Cassie all of a sudden jumped up because she just didn't like the exchange. And later on, and the man was like, "Oh, I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you, Diddy. I'm not looking at you in your face. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you." And then he said that Diddy was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well, we just here to have fun." And before Cassie started again, she wanted to make sure that they didn't have any issues. Then he said one time he met up at Cassie's house and she was on her computer. This was after they had sex. She was on her computer and Diddy had told her to come here. And she was like, "Give me a second. I got some of my personal information out on the screen." So basically, Daniel was saying that once they got done doing their him and Cassie and Diddy masturbated, those two would go in a room, and sometimes they would go in a room for hours and just leave him in the living room. Sometimes they would come back and be like, "Okay, let's do a round two," or sometimes they would be like, "Okay, we'll see you later," or whatever, right? And so he said this particular time, this is after they had sex, he was just sitting down. Cassie was on her computer, and Diddy said, "Come here." And she said, "I'll be there in a minute. I got personal information on my computer. I'll be there in a minute." Next thing he know, let me see. Next thing he know, Diddy, hold on. "Babe, come here." These are quotes. Daniel said, Diddy said, and I quote, "Babe, come here." Cassie said, "Hold on one sec. I have my personal information out." Next thing he know, Diddy threw a liquor bottle at her and it hit the wall. Then he grabbed her by her hair into the bedroom. She was screaming, and it sounded like he was slapping her. She was saying, "I'm sorry." And Diddy said, and I quote, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, you come now, not later." And he said that he didn't intervene because he was shocked. He was scared that he would get hurt. One point in his testimony, he said that Diddy took a picture of his ID and stated that it was just for insurance, just in case. And he took that as meaning, according to Daniel, he said Diddy threatened him. He said after that incident, he said that Diddy said, and I quote, "Are y'all ready to continue?" And so what happened was before that, hold on. Mhm. Okay, what if I'm not hold on, if he named two incidents. Anyway, he said I couldn't do anything after that. He couldn't get hard after seeing Diddy hit her. Um, then there was another okay. That's the first incident that happened at Cassie's house. Second incident that happened at the hotel here in New York after sex with Cassie. Um, they were in the room and she was yelling, I'm sorry," because I told you he said every time they get done having sex, they go to the room and they leave him outside. After sex with Cassie, she was yelling, they were in the room and he heard Cassie yelling, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Diddy left Cassie and went. He said he saw Diddy leave out the room, basically. Now they are in hotel suites when they meet up. He says Diddy left and Cassie was shaking and jumped right into her lap. And at this point, he was asking Cassie, like, why do you stay with him? She was like, it was okay, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then they started kissing. Okay? They started kissing. And he said that, and then he got hard, right? And so he noticed that Diddy saw them peeking around the corner. Diddy saw them peeking around the corner. So when Diddy saw them peeking around the corner, once he realized, he claims that once Diddy realized that Cassie and Daniel saw him peeking around the corner, he said, I like that. I like that y'all are getting along that way. Diddy came back and he was like, he while he was on hard, when Diddy was gone, and he said that was the first time Diddy had ever left them by themselves. And he said Cassie wasn't really somebody that likes to kiss or kiss him during their interactions. But that particular time, the second time at the hotel, after it sounded like Diddy was slapping her again, she started to kiss him. And he said as soon as Diddy walked back into the room, he got on soft and he couldn't do anything. And not to mention, because I don't know if I said this, the first night they met up, they he left. They asked for she asked for a pic of his penis. He was also asked to come back for round two, all in that same night. All in that same night. So the first night they met, they had more than one round. He left, the man came back. Okay. During his testimony, his family, during his testimony, his daughters walked out. And I was trying to see Diddy, like see his mannerisms, and I really couldn't quite see him, but I do remember him just sitting there. It wasn't like I didn't really see a lot of fidgeting, or anything like that. Every time they would put, Diddy is very engaged, like I told y'all before. When they would put stuff on the screen, he the first one there. He looking. I don't know what, he looking. Okay, maybe he in there getting a law degree while this is happening. Diddy is looking, trying to figure out, what's going on. He got his glasses on. When he walked in today, he had on all gray. So he has, so I'm assuming he wears the same color shirt and the same color pants. Last week he had on all blue. This week he got on all gray with the white shirt underneath the sweater. When he walked up, boom, 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 he had, he was taking stuff out his bag. I was like, is he a defendant or an attorney, baby, because did it get here he go, just taking stuff out the bag. Diddy, listen, Diddy is here. Diddy is here, okay? He's here. Um, the Combs twins had on all black. They look so pretty with their buns, and they had the slick back bun. Chance had on white, and they came in holding hands. Chance was in the middle, and the two twins were, on each side. Quincy had on his cowboy boots with that nice suit. Quincy looked really, really nice. I loved his frames. Christian was there, Justin was there. And it looked like Justin mama probably broke her ankle, or something's wrong with her foot, possibly, because she was on a walker. And towards the end of the day, when she was walking out the courtroom, she didn't have the walker, but it looked like she was limping a little bit. So that makes me think that she just had like a, like maybe like a foot injury or ankle injury or something. Justin mama had some blonde braids, and I think like a pink top. Baby, let me tell you, Mama Combs, baby, she she listen, Misa, that's her name. Misa, I knew it started with an M. Misa, Justin's mama, Misa. That's the one who I had like a walker. She had a walker, and it looked like she had her foot injured a little bit. Did this mama baby walked in with her wig, face beats. Her son might be locked up, baby, but she ain't going down. She looking good. Mama still looking good. Had a wig on, had a glad her little shades on, had a nice little, I think she had like a little scarf around her neck. I think if it wasn't a scarf, it was like a silk type shirt underneath a suit jacket. Had a black purse. She looked good. All in all, his family does appear to be in good spirits. I didn't see anybody holding their head down. I didn't, everybody was, they are there for their father. They are showing support. But this second witness, we are not done with him. We will pick up in the morning at 9:30. And now let me tell you something. The cross though, the cross, yo, the cross, the cross. Listen, the cross for both times. And so now we are on the for like the first witness police officer Officer Florez, and then now with Daniel. What is Daniel Phillips? Yeah, Daniel Phillip, 41, some college. Okay, that's what this is my nose. Yeah, he said he met Cassie 2012 to 2013. Let me see, when did Cassie first meet, did it? Because it sounded like they started doing freak offs immediately. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, she met Diddy in 2011. Oh, bitch, I'm lying. She met him in 2005. Child, White Owl ran together. She met him in 2005. I don't know. She met him. I graduated high school. Diddy was 37. She was 19. And I want to say, like, the opening statements were real. The opening statements were interesting. I expected for the prosecutors to have a little bit more, I don't know. Maybe because I'm a little, but it was real, chill. Yeah. So stay tuned for my next video. I just had to tell y'all about this part, but stay tuned about my next video as we talk about defendant number one and the video, and how the video that we were shown today was slightly different from CNN's video, and so on and so forth. It's your girl Lajanae. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at underscore LAJANEE underscore. This is Crazy Crimes Verdict Watch, the Diddy trial. This is the second week of trial. We just seated the jurors. And we're gonna talk about that too. See ya.